A little CGB for your midday. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Come on in. Come on in. Welcome to On Deck, brought to you by Complete Game Broadcasting. If you want to take your broadcasting to the next level, you want to get into sports broadcasting, radio, whatever it is, make sure you check in and you tap in with Complete Game Broadcasting. It's your guy, JWill. I'm locked in here for midday. I got Tim in the building with me. What's going on, Tim?
What's up, Jeff?
Man, nothing much, man. Just looking at this good scenery outside. It's a cold draft that came over. I didn't know it was going to be this cold today.
This is the JWill Show.
Man, I love it.
Sort of a new thing.
I love
Going
it.
live from CGB Live.
Live from
I like
CGB.
it. I like it.
I mean, it sounds real good, Tim. Sounds real good. I'm not gonna be overly.
I don't know if it sounds as good as you look, my friend.
Well, you know, I try to do what I can. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's good? What's up? Come on in, everybody. Today is going to be real good. Got a real dope show today. Tim, I want to talk to you about something. I saw a clip on TikTok, IG, whatever, social media. Saw a clip and it was talking about AAU. Gino Auriemma, the head coach of the women's basketball team, UConn. He was saying how, you know what? I'm doing too much talking. Go, just play the clip. Play the audio.
I have a hard time watching high school kids play or younger kids play because they're more talented than ever. They're better athletes than ever. They can do more things than kids 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But they're not better basketball players because this coach or that system has them playing 6 games on Saturday and they practice once that week. It's totally opposite of what they do in Europe, where you will practice 6 days and you will play once. So you wonder why all these kids coming from Europe, they say, well, why are they so fundamentally sound? Can they all dribble? They can all pass. They can all shoot. Doesn't matter whether they're 5'10" or 6'10", because they practice. They don't play games. Here, it's all about how many games are we going to play, and then are we going to practice this week? Like I coached the boys AAU team, okay? My son was on it. We had 5 Division I players on it. We had 3 kids that went pro. So we went down and played in Orlando in a tournament that all the college coaches go to, and we had a chance that if we won one more game, we would finish 11th. Now, that's pretty damn good. We had them all coming back the following year. And then 2 of the kids said, I'm not playing. I said, why not? I said, well, I'm playing on another team. Why? Well, it turns out we practice every Tuesday and Thursday like clockwork. Well, the other coach told them, you don't have to practice, just show up for games. Coaches are feeding into this because guess what? A lot, I'm not saying all of them, but so many of the coaches that coach don't have any idea how to be a good coach. It's not even their fault.
Strong words. Strong words. He was pretty much saying we as Americans, as AAU, we rely off talent alone. We go and we just pretty much on the job training. Pretty much throw you into the fire, you figure it out, you let your talent work for you, opposed to seeing overseas athletes and they practice multiple times a week, get to one game, and they're fundamentally sound, and then when they're ready to go pro, they have the total package because of their experience. And he was pretty much saying AAU was ruined in the game. Now, Tim, you being a coach and everything, I know if you've seen this. And I'm pretty much want to make this broad throughout all sports, baseball, basketball, football. There's a lot of people just relying off of talent alone, but not knowing the fundamentals of the game. And so there's been a surge in, of course, AAU and basketball. There's been year-round baseball. There's the new surge in 7-on-7 for football now. Are we saying forget the fundamentals of every game right now and just going with the freakish athletes and just letting them go out and just do their thing?
I mean, I'm seeing it at a young age. I'm seeing parents seeing their kids that have athletic ability and scoring goals or in soccer or scoring 20 points in 10 and under basketball,
right?
Or hitting the home runs over the 200-foot fence. And they're not thinking development. They think their kid's already there.
Right.
And you're seeing not only that, but then they're like, oh, you're a baseball player. That's all you're playing.
Right.
Yeah, it's a big problem, I think, for sure.
I believe every sport is about to suffer so bad. Like, you have football as to where everything has to be instant. If it isn't instant gratification, if we don't see success, they just move you out. Like it used to. I believe we talked about this like 4 weeks ago, as to where you used to give a coach like 4 to 5 years to try to figure things out. But now it's like 2 to 3 because everything is instant. They have the passing leagues. You should be able to find a quarterback because, boom, he's been in this and that organization. He went to the Manning camp. He went to the football factory. Might have went to Ohio State. Let's just throw that out there. And he went to the pros and he didn't produce. Like, why not?
You think football's a little bit different, though, because you're not going out there banging heads every day, right? So the 7-7 is a little bit of a development, maybe, type of thing, maybe.
I know.
I don't know.
For a cornerback or a safety, it is not development.
Okay, I agree with that.
Because it's like you're not learning any type of DB skills.
You're just playing.
You're just out there playing, trying to cover. You're just doing your own thing, opposed to the wide receiver who's just really just he might show off his skills, and the quarterback is going to get better, of course. But as far as the defense, the linebackers and all that, they're not getting better.
No,
they just throw them out there to just be some test dummies. At this point, now with basketball, we know that there's no development going on in basketball.
No, and I sort of see the same thing with some other sports. For example, soccer and baseball. I mean, they're playing games. It's ridiculous. Some of these kids playing year-round baseball are playing more games than an MLB player does in a year.
Wow.
Because they're playing fall ball.
Right.
They're playing summer travel ball.
Right.
And they're playing spring travel ball along with, let's say, their high school.
Wow.
Or if they're younger, they're playing that much. So unless you have a coach like Gino, who is about developing kids, it's coming down to the parents of these kids saying, you know what? You need more work on hitting. You need to make sure your hitting style is better. Or pitching, you need to learn more balance or your core work. Let's get you some help in that area.
Right. And I'm going to move to baseball because, like you just said, it's year round. And pretty much you can get drafted in high school. NBA used to do it. They cut it out because they already saw the wave coming. But baseball, they still believe in development because you get drafted, you go straight to the minor leagues or AAA, AA, all of that good stuff. But what happens?
Is the development coming too late, though?
I believe it is. Because at that point in time, like I said, when you get drafted, they're expecting you to do something.
You can look at, like, baseball, for example. Here's a prime example. When my son was 14, very good baseball player. I mean, had opportunities to go to a lot of different places, play college ball, played at East Cobb, so played the year-round stuff. But we took a mission trip to Dominican Republic, who's known for baseball.
Right.
Every MLB team has a location over there on that small island.
Right.
So when we went over, part of the mission trip was to play against some of the villages. You'd go visit, you'd go walk up to the village, there'd be 200 kids out there. What are they doing? They're not just playing. They're doing ground balls.
Oh, wow.
They're hitting off a rock. I mean, they're rocks in the infield, taking bad hops. They're developing. You look at most of the MLB players now, how many are from the U.S.?
Yep.
And you're starting to see that in the NBA.
Yep. The NBA is going more overseas. You know, Nikola Jokic is starting to be like the front man from the NBA right now. He is just doing his thing. Like, it's starting to be easy to him. The NBA is easy to Jokic. The NBA is easy to Luka Doncic. The NBA is starting to be easy to anybody who is an overseas player. As opposed now, when we head over to football, it's a very interesting thing that's happening because with football, of course, you have the college thing, but the NIL thing is kind of dampening it. It's kind of making it blurry right now for the development, because at this point you're like, if I don't like this coach, I could just go to another school. If I'm not playing right away, I could just go somewhere else. And then there used to be, if I wasn't playing right away, I could just go to a JUCO and then showcase my talent and then go back to a D1 school.
And with that, I will give you examples why development in college football is a big thing. Look at the teams that don't hit the portal that often, who don't, keep kids around if they're begging for money or whatnot.
Right.
But the teams that continually have good recruiting classes and develop their kids and stay in their program. Georgia.
Right.
Kirby doesn't hit the portal often.
You're right.
Now he will. He will when he needs to, but he won't.
Right.
Bama doesn't hit the portal often.
Right.
Michigan didn't hit the portal often.
Right.
Clemson doesn't hit the portal often.
Right.
Look at the teams that did hit the portal. Who was the first one?
Colorado.
Lincoln Riley. Well, before that even, Lincoln Riley at USC.
Yeah.
He was bringing people all over the place.
Lincoln drops his same 2 to 3 games a year, though.
Exactly.
It's the same pattern.
That's what I'm saying. And last year they were terrible.
Yeah.
So that's development. You're not developing those guys. You're just bringing in talent.
Right.
The teams that are able to develop their kids and keep them at their school are the ones that are on top more consistently than anybody else. Colorado, give me a break. Dion was 4-0, and then everybody was talking about how great they were. They didn't win another game all year.
I believe Dion brought in the NFL approach to everything, because he was like, I could just switch you out, plug you in, put you part of the right system. It is what it is, but the players don't know the system.
And then programs are like one and dones.
Yep.
I mean, they're not going to have a consistent over time. So, and that's football. I mean, I think the basketball is a whole nother ball game, because you can do that year round.
Yeah.
Baseball, you can pretty much play year round.
But with basketball, it's just with the AAU type of thing. What system are you learning? Because pretty much it's plug you in, play. Plug you in, play. You got 3 games a day, plug you in. Hey, do what you do. Score your 20. Make sure everybody sees you. Get big. Boom.
Well, you know what's crazy? The difference in the men's and women's game in college is, why are the women – I see the ladies shooting threes
Right.
consistently, shooting free throws consistently,
Right.
taking care of the ball, not turning it over consistently. In the men's game,
Turnover.
brick,
Yeah.
turnover.
Yeah.
But, man, you know what? I can jump and dunk.
Yo, Tim, I saw a clip 2 days ago. It was at the end. I forgot what team it was. It was at the end of a game. Like, his team, a team just went up. Dude had got the steal. He stole the ball. Team went up. This man fouled somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Sent them to the free throw line, and they won the game.
Akron and Kent State.
Like the IQ.
Oh, it's 0.
It is terrible. The IQ of the players right now is terrible. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just believe the fundamentals of the game they are getting lost, and it's going to get worse. And you gotta blame it on the source. You gotta blame it on the talent source that is AAU, football wise.
I think any sport, right? I think you don't know what you're getting as far as an AAU coach.
Right.
Are they looking to make themselves look good so that they can get a college job, or so they can get on a pro coaching staff? How are they going to do that? They're going to want a quick turnaround.
Right.
So they're just bringing in the best athletes they can get and say, go out and play and win.
Right. And it's at least with high school football, you have no choice but to develop, because you're there 4 years. You have no choice, and you really can't hop.
You can't pick your
coach.
coach.
You can't hop around.
And you can't pick your coach.
You can't.
There's no AAU football, really.
Right.
There is 7-on-7, like you said.
7-on-7. That's the only thing you got.
But, yeah, there's no necessarily AAU football.
Everybody, let me know what you think about this in the comments right now. Tim, we have to keep going with this. And Speaking of AAU, can we please talk about the parents? At some point in time, the parents are the leading cause of why I say this. They're the leading cause of why the NBA went away and did with that high school rule. They already saw the flood coming. They knew that everybody was going to have a mixtape. They knew everybody was going to put their clips up on YouTube, put their clips on Facebook, boom, show all the highlights, and then go to the NBA and then just be oversaturated with players who can't play. Because you're a kid still playing with grown men, with the exception of Dwight Howard and LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and Kevin Garnett. But at some point in time, and people, you don't want to hear this, at some point in time, you gotta tell yourself, your kid might not be that. Your kid might not be that first rounder. They just might not be the next Tom Brady. They might not be the next Odell Beckham. They just might not be that. They might had a moment, but as far as the sacrifice to be at the next level, it's not being exuded right now. Because if you think about being a player at the next level in the NBA, Steph Curry woke up and shot 4,000 shots before he went to school every day.
There's a great documentary on him, by the way.
Yeah.
I just saw it, and I don't even know what it's called. Or I think it was on Netflix.
HBO.
Oh, is it HBO Max?
I believe it was HBO.
Great. I mean, here's a kid that, what was he, 5'0"?
Yep.
Had to work at it.
Yep.
Yeah, parents are a nightmare. And it's usually the ones that were never an athlete.
Yep.
So they're living their life through their kids. Now, as a parent, and you're a parent, we want the best for our kids, right?
Absolutely.
And you have to be careful not to step over that line. I remember, and I coached pretty high-level athletes in swimming. I've coached year-round baseball. I've coached high school football, done a little bit of everything. Swimming, I can remember a young gal who had a ton of talent. And I was, I'm not big on, at a young age, showing up all the time.
Right.
Because it takes time. It's maturity, all that kind of stuff. But when they get to high school age, okay, you need to commit a little bit more to practice to where we can work on, race strategy, stroke technique, all that kind of stuff. Didn't want to do it. So she went somewhere else.
At some point, keep going, Tim, my bad.
No, you're good.
At some point, and you as the coach, at some point, you gotta tell your kid, if you're not practicing every day, if you're not waking up and working on your craft, I don't know. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna make it to the next level, but I don't know if it's going to be possible for you, because there are people who are committing their bodies and sacrificing their minds, sacrificing their diets and this, that, and so forth just to stay at that level. Like some people, okay, yeah, you probably are a freakish athlete. It's probably like 10% of athletes right now who are just freakish. They can go out, eat 3 Big Macs and still put up like 2 touchdowns, 35 points in a basketball game, probably hit about 3 home runs, give us 3 goals a game, all that type of stuff. That's the 10%. But for the 90, you got to keep working.
You do, but there comes a time you don't want to start working your kid at 8, 9 years old.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if you might be too young for the Todd Marinovich story. You remember that ordeal? You'll have to check that out. There's probably some documentary on that. But here's a couple examples. When my son was young, he was probably 8 or 9, and he was freakishly an athlete for baseball. I mean, like, didn't have to work hard for it, played shortstop, pitched, went to a guy who is very known here in Atlanta named CJ Stewart.
Okay.
Great dude, played in the Chicago Cubs organization. He told my son, he said, you know what? He goes, you know how to play outfield? 8, 9 years old, guess what parents don't want their kid playing? He said, you need to learn outfield, learn technique, Because guess what? If you do that, you're guaranteed, I can guarantee you, making your high school baseball team. He said, because the number one athlete in your district is going to be the shortstop. The second best athlete in your district is probably going to be your third baseman. He goes, that's a crapshoot if you're betting on being the top 2 or 3 in your district.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, but you learn how to play outfield. Nobody knows how to do it.
Right. You guarantee yourself a spot. And it goes back to the fundamentals. Why are we not wanting to know the fundamentals in everything? Like, why do we think it's just too much to do? Because in order for you to stay at that level, you can get to that level off some talent. I give you that. You can get there off of some talent. But to stay there, you have to know some type of technique. You have to stand on some type of fundamentals. And it's just, I just believe the games, like like we just said, soccer. I'm not too big on hockey, so I don't know.
Same thing.
Not baseball, football, basketball. The technique is gone.
And I'll tell you what, learning technique at a young age, you have to think. You have to work at it, right?
Right.
You're creating good work ethic. So when they get older and they're good and they're talented, to take it to the next level, whether they want to play college athletics or whatever, they're going to have that work ethic to do it.
Right.
But if it comes easy at a young age and your parents are, blowing you up on Facebook, telling you how wonderful you are to everybody, and your head's bigger than all get now, and then you get to high school and you think you can just walk into the gym and play or walk onto the field and be a superstar, then all of a sudden you're not.
Harsh realities. Harsh realities. Tim, as a coach, have you ever had to tell the parent or the kid, hey, I know you're trying to go pro, but the way your work ethic, it ain't going to cut it. It's not working.
I think I've been pretty straightforward with the kids from day one, whether they're 10 years old, 12 years old, 14, 16, 18, whatever. You want to keep realistic goals, but also, and that as a coach, and it should be as a parent too, to help your athlete know what a realistic goal is.
Right.
You get too many parents now that think their son's going to be the next Chipper Jones, or Trey Young or whoever.
Right.
And that's not the way to do it.
Tim, how hard is it to throw a 95-mile-per-hour fastball?
Oh, it's not easy, my friend.
How like what training do you got to go through to just get this? I'm trying to figure this out because I'm like, from what I see, it looks like something you had to develop over like a good period of time.
You'll have kids at a young age that can throw fast. You want to be a thrower or do you want to be a pitcher?
All right, explain to me this. A thrower or a pitcher? Please explain.
A thrower, you can get up there and throw it 90 miles an hour and it'd be all over the place. And that's the problem too with like organizations like Perfect Game who measures your speed on a fastball.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw it to the fence like the dude in Bull Durham. Nobody knows because they just record your speed.
So there's no repertoire. So,
okay,
I'm
so
glad you're here.
who's the number one pitcher on the Braves right now, or the biggest, newest, hottest pitcher on the Braves?
Name just escaped me.
Spencer Strider.
Thank you.
Right? Now, I know a lot about Spencer Strider because I'm a Clemson guy, and he went to Clemson.
Of course.
No, he wasn't that great of a pitcher in college.
Wow.
He actually came in, I believe, as sort of a third baseman / pitcher.
Did he go to the minor league first?
No.
He went straight?
No, he did, but he came up pretty fast.
Okay.
But he pitched at Clemson, but was not, the best college pitcher out there. But he developed big time workout ethics, making sure his body was in good shape. And you're seeing what he's doing now.
Right.
Could be the best pitcher in MLB.
For your swimmers, because you coach swimming, tell me the process it would take for somebody to get to the Olympic level. Like, because I'm pretty sure you can't just hop in the water and just be like, well, this is this. I got to learn the technique. but nobody wants to learn the technique. And that's why people like Michael Phelps were owning the sport for many of years.
Well, Michael Phelps is an exception to the rule, right? So
I mean,
the kid,
even though the weed made him
at
swim a little bit faster.
At the age of 10, that kid was as good at the age of 10 as he was when he was 18.
Whoa.
He had records all the way through. Here's a prime example. I had a young man who, at the age of 12, was an athlete. Played football, played baseball, played basketball, and swam. And a lot of people at that age where we were swimming at, where I was coaching, didn't like the fact that he was practicing with the other athletes that were coming 6 days a week, but he could only come 2 or 3 because of the other sports. This at 12. Those that come like at that young age that much, they're boom, boom, boom so much, whether it's playing or whatever, they're going to burn out. By the time he was 16, he decided, you know what, maybe I need to swim. Full scholarship to Stanford. Missed the Olympic team by 100th of a second.
Wow.
But knowing as a U.S. swimmer, even though he missed the Olympic team by 100th of a second, he would have still won the bronze medal with his time from Olympic trials.
It still hurts.
But yeah, I mean, so my big thing about athletes is work ethic, because if you have good work ethic, if you work on, like you said, skills and whatnot, that goes over to other things beside athletics. You're going to find out those athletes that do that are the best students also.
Right.
I mean, swimmers, just for example, because I did it for so long. Swimmers, by the time they're high school age, a lot of them are swimming before school and after school training. They develop time management skills, and you can go to almost any college campus that has a swim team and look at GPAs, and they're going to be the highest ones.
We were talking about this earlier. Okay, so maybe you're not a D1. Maybe you're not a Georgia athlete. Maybe you're not an SEC. Maybe you're not an ACC. Maybe you're a Conference USA athlete. There's nothing wrong with that. But why is everybody so fixated on the big name? If I don't make the big name, I just can't make it at all. Like they see it as the end. Like if I don't get to the SEC or the Big Ten or anything like that, I'm pretty much is over with. Would you tell your athletes, hey, all right, so you don't have what it takes to go to Georgia right now, but you can, you can make it on a mid-major type of level right now? Would you tell them that off top?
Absolutely. You have to be straight with them right from the get-go, right?
Right.
And it's just like if you're applying to colleges. Some people have the brains. Some people have to work at it. So you can have your dream schools that you apply to.
Right.
Then you can have your realistic schools. And then you have, the safe schools. Same type of thing in athletics. You look at the NFL draft this year and see how many guys do not come from Power 5 schools.
Right.
Or even Division I schools. So as an athlete, I think parents have to realize, you know what? Your kid doesn't have to be in the spotlight
just to
be
make
successful.
It right. It's more, and I believe parents are getting worse. Parents are getting worse. They're more than ever. They are hounding the coaches now. Why is my son not in? Why is my daughter not in? Why they not doing it? They can make a difference. But they like, all right, if I put your son or your daughter in, they go make us lose the game.
You know how great it would be to have leagues where, I know this is impossible, parents don't show up.
That'll never happen.
Just close the gym doors.
That'll never happen.
Come on in and play, guys.
We got to put a barricade right there on the
They'll break it down.
on the crowd.
Oh my gosh.
They'll definitely put the barricade right there, and then it'll still be something after that, like cut a one, Could have won. Could have won if you put my child in. Like, no, your child sucks. And I know it's a harsh reality hearing that, but sometimes they got to pick something else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, by a certain age, right? But when they're younger, if you're a coach, you're not there necessarily to win. I mean, yeah, is winning nice?
Yeah, it is.
But you know what? You're there to develop kids.
You know parents not trying to hear that, Tim.
But you're developing kids not only on the athletic side, but on the mental side.
Parents want to win.
I know they do.
They want that child to be the reason that you
course.
won.
Of course. And you see it. Gosh, I saw it. I saw it in basketball and youth basketball, right? And it was in the county that we were in, and it was school league.
Mm-hmm.
We go through the tryout process. There's like 6 coaches, 6 teams from this one little school district. And we get to the first time I coached in this little district. So I didn't know what to expect. We'll get done with the tryouts. We go to the draft process. You got Buddy Dad over there who has 3 assistant coaches.
Wow.
Oh, we get to freeze all our guys on my team. They happen to be 4 out of the best 6 kids out there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, that's fair, right?
Oh, wow.
Just not right. People want to win at a young age.
Oh, yeah.
Way too much.
And then, now this is good.
And it's hard to explain to people. It's hard to explain. I'm gonna tell on my sister right now. So I have a sister that's 12 years younger than me.
Okay.
And her kids started swimming like year round.
Uh-oh.
So this is my
Are
realm.
are you molding them already?
No. Opposite, right? So she's comparing them to other swimmers. She's saying, why aren't they swimming fast enough? Why aren't they doing this? And I'm like, you need to chill out. Your daughter's 9 years old. Okay?
Let her grow.
I can tell you now, if you keep pushing and you keep telling her, why aren't you improving your time? You know what? Maybe improving your stroke or your technique is more important than improving your time right now.
Right.
Because as you develop and grow older, then you're going to get faster.
Right.
Do you want your kid to be done with the sport by the time they're 14? Because you're pushing so hard? It'll happen. And it's hard to show you examples because they've all quit by the time they're 14. So take it easy.
Tim, let's talk about the freakish athlete. Now, the 10%.
Less than that.
Okay, let's say the 4%-ish. The freakish athlete who's a beast at one sport, but he or she gets bored, and so they go to another sport. Do coaches really oppose them being in multiple sports at the same time?
Depends on what sport you're talking about.
Because let's say for the female, she might be dope at volleyball, dope at basketball, dope at softball. I've seen this. I mean, always on the go, dope at everything, and track. Like, what's the point where somebody always sits you down and makes you focus on one? And I see it, I mean, you kind of, that's a bad example. You kind of just see it. You see it in high school where somebody, hey, you gonna do one, you gonna focus on that, you gonna make it off that. Are coaches really opposed to that? Or is it just, hey, you just do you?
No, I think there's a lot of coaches that are opposed to that, especially on the AAU level, because their focus is one sport.
Right.
So they're going to try to convince their star athlete, the freakish athlete, to play their one sport. You're seeing it in high school, too. You're seeing, like, the football coaches saying, oh, in the offseason, you need to lift weights.
Right.
You need to do this. You need to focus on this. You don't need to be going and playing whatever.
It's an interesting thing because the freak athlete, I mean, like I said, I mean, like we said, they're the freak. They're the freak. And the soft, like I've seen females, volleyball, beast, softball, beast. I mean, get right off the softball field and go right into volleyball. And then once both of those are over, go straight to basketball. And I mean, I saw a girl really break down because they told her she couldn't play volleyball anymore. And I believe she probably would have been better at volleyball than she was softball. That's just my opinion. But it's the fact that if it's not developed, I mean, the freak athlete is the freak, but if it's not developed to where it's like I could see myself doing that, because at the end of the day, the child has to see themselves doing it. I think it's more, this whole thing gets misconstrued with the parent and the coach all the time.
You look at a freakish athlete. Would you call Chipper Jones a freakish athlete?
Yeah.
Would you call Jeff Francoeur a freakish athlete?
Yeah.
Both of them were multi-sport athletes.
Yeah.
Both of them, to this day, will say how important it is for their kids not to get sucked into the one sport athlete situation.
I was about
Have
to
you
bring up
ever
Travis
heard?
Hunter.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard much of Jeff Francoeur's parents
No,
or Chipper Jones' parents?
not at all.
Right? Huh. Exactly. I know Jeff Francoeur's parents were teachers, I believe. And it's just like, man, parents got to step back. AAU coaches, I don't know what you do about that. I think that's the biggest problem.
It's not going to stop. It's about to get worse.
Because the AAU coaches, it's about them, some of those guys.
Tim, when I saw that man foul that guy at the end of the game, I said, this is some bull crap. I said, where's the IQ? Like, you're not even nervous. You're just doing stuff. Like, nobody is teaching IQ. Nobody's doing it anymore. They're just throwing you out there, especially if you're a tall player. If you're anything other, if you are over 6 foot, 6'3", go out there.
It has to be done at a young age, though. I think the responsibility of teaching the fundamentals and the IQ, the sports IQ, has to come at a young age and in the high school level to start with. You know, I don't think you can take. I think it's hard to develop that all on the college level because it's a business now.
Yeah, you got to already.
And those coaches, you know what? You don't win, you're gone.
Expeditiously. Like I said, the coach doesn't even get 4 or 5 years anymore. Like, you don't even get a recruiting class anymore. Like, there are always coaches stuck with somebody else's recruiting class.
And I think it's sort of hard. I mean, I agree with everything Gino was saying in the clip. But I also have a little bit of an issue with him being the spokesperson on that when he gets the #1 recruiting class every year.
I mean, come on now. It's a little Saban in that. It's like Saban. It's like Saban when he was talking about the NIL. And that really pissed him off so bad that he just, I retire. I can't even do it anymore. And I knew he was going to retire off NIL because he couldn't get, I believe if he got the #1 quarterback, he would have still been coaching right now.
I don't know, man.
He'd still be coaching right now if he had a good quarterback.
I think there's multiple things with that with him. I think #1, age. He's a very family person type of guy.
Family was already down there.
Yeah. But
I think
if they would have won the national championship last year, you think he would have stayed?
Now you might have me.
I don't think so. I think he already knew
he would have walked off with a bang if he would have.
Yeah.
If he would have won last year,
I think it wore on him. I think it was wearing on him. And it's a new game. I don't agree with the NIL stuff or to a certain extent, and I don't agree with the transfer portal stuff. But if you want to keep coaching, you're going to have to adjust to that and try to figure out a way.
I believe Gino is coming out saying something now because he's not getting the #1 class, and it's another Saban. It's another Saban effect to where it's about to wear on him. It's going to piss him off, and he's going to be gone. Because usually we'll all say, yeah, when we talk about women's basketball, it's the UConns, it's the Tennessees. I remember when the Pat Summeralls and all that type stuff was going on. Now, did I say her name right?
What?
It was Pat Summit. I'm
Pat
sorry.
Summit.
I said
You said
Summerall.
That was the announcer. I was like, wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute. I said, did I say that right? But you talk about the Pat Summits and the Gino Oriemas, and you had your same four with your North Carolinas. Now the tide have changed. You have South Carolina, LSU. It's a lot of women's teams now that dare I say, surpass UConn now. So.
But both of those coaches, Dawn Staley and over
yep.
at South Carolina and Kim Mulkey at LSU, they're both developers.
Yeah.
Not only in the sport of basketball, in the sport of life. And they develop their kids that way. And if they're not, you saw with Angel Reese at the beginning of the year.
Right.
She was benched.
Yeah. But I believe the fame got to her. And
there was no doubt.
Come on now. Like, when you're an 18, 19-year-old
Sure.
kid, you got $1 million and you getting
Sure.
endorsements and everything. Come on now.
Absolutely.
You're not going to school. You're not doing any work. Student athlete wear. I make more than my professor. Like, I'm not going to class. I'm going to spend this money. I'm going to enjoy this fame.
Right.
So it's real interesting. Tim, can you name any male players right now? Because it's like the female players are taking over the whole NCAA tournament right now.
Oh, you mean like Caitlin Clark being
Yep.
the name right now?
Off the top. Everybody
Angel
knows Caitlin
Reese
Clark
and-
and Angel
yeah.
Reese.
In men's basketball?
Men's basketball. I'm sorry, I can't name anybody. I can just say them as a team. I can say their coach and their team. They're big as a brand, but
it could be one or two things. Why do you think that is?
the brand is just better.
What is?
The brand for the men's team, it's just more so brand. And there's no star player. Nobody jumps out.
But is it because there's a lot of really good players?
I don't know.
A lot of star players?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I got a wild card though.
But you're right. There's not that. Yeah, because back in the day, before your time.
Oh man.
No. I'm just saying. I saw Michael Jordan when he played at North Carolina. Okay. Obviously, I saw Larry Bird and Magic when they played at Indiana State and Michigan State.
Right.
And by the way, I think this is way off line, but I want to say this straight out. None of those guys were the best person I've ever seen play.
Oh wow. Who was the best player you ever seen play?
Guy by the name of Len Bias.
Really? Len Bias was that?
Dude, he was better than Jordan.
He was that for real?
Yes. Have you not seen any?
I've seen the clips, and I've seen the clips of him, and they also said it was a dude who played for the Knicks. His name escapes me, Bernard something.
Bernard King.
Yes, they said those two were beasts.
Bias by far would have been the GOAT of all GOATs. in
Seriously?
basketball. Absolutely.
Lenny Bias?
Yes.
Wow.
Insane, that dude. But anyway, what were we at?
The men's
Yeah, the men's game. You don't have that one name.
You don't. All I just know is coaches and brands. Like I was out at Yard House Saturday. I'm looking at the TV and NC State is beating North Carolina. I'm like, what's happening right now? Like,
I think I'm going to say that there's a lot more better athletes all around.
I give you that.
So with that, I don't think you're going to see a one guy carry a team
No more.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Not to any type of title.
Nah.
Can't be done.
The one and done rule is that just ripped up the men's side. That tore them up. Because you don't too much see the transfer portal taking over the basketball side. Not that much.
Well, here's the deal with the transfer portal on the basketball side. You only need to get one or two guys.
You're right about that.
And all of a sudden, you're competing.
You're right about that. You are right about that.
And I will say, and here's my philosophy on the transfer portal in college football. It's crazy, right?
You get the transfer every year. Like, you don't even have a
But here's
cap.
the deal. Let's be real. Okay, we're talking about being real with parents and kids. Let's be real.
Before the transfer portal, Dabo was a beast too. He would get the best players too. Dabo was a beast.
Recruiting wise.
Yes, recruiter rise.
He's one that has not gone to portal at all.
Till you guys lost your defensive coordinator because he was a beast.
Who, Venables?
Yeah.
Really? You watch now. Okay, we won't get into Clemson right now, but their 2025 class is top 2 right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's doing it the old school way, recruiting. However, here's my thing about the portal with college football. I could probably count 20 to 25 kids in the portal that transfer that make an impact on the team they go to, immediate impact. 20 to 25, that's it. All these other kids that are transferring, it's because they're not getting PT, playing time.
Right.
It's because they don't like the coach.
Mainly that.
Because they're coming in, like you said, as a 5-star athlete.
Yep.
And guess what? You can't get by with that in college. But not on athletic talent. You better be able to work.
You will get drug every time.
You will see the teams that develop those 3-star guys, those 4-star or 3-star guys into NFL talent.
Yep.
That's the program that you need to be looking at.
Yep. And majority of the time, you're going to get that in college football. It's just the NILs and the transfer portals are tearing it up.
Absolutely.
They're just, hey, talent, I need you already made. I'm still trying to figure out how Deion is going to do this.
He's not.
Because he's plugging in players, which is, I mean, he's getting some dope players, cool, but to play as a team, like.
It's short-term success. Deion, okay, here's the deal. I'm not a big Deion fan. Number one, he returned a punt back in the 80s against my Tigers when I was in school. It about killed me. But you know what he's doing? He's buying his time, dude. He's going to Florida State when he can.
Man. He's going to the NFL.
No, he's not.
Prime's going to the NFL.
How?
He's going to the NFL. He's going to follow Shador.
He better start winning.
He's going to follow Shador.
No, I don't agree with that.
All right, I'm trying to figure out. All right, I know we're going off subject.
That's
with
okay.
this. How are we letting this daddy ball happen? How did we let this daddy ball happen?
What, Deion daddy ball?
Yes, that's daddy ball.
Shador's pretty darn good, though.
I mean, he is. All right, I give you that. Yes, he is. But you got rid of a whole offensive coordinator. Y'all were doing good in the beginning of the year. You got rid of offensive coordinator because he's like, hey, man, he just don't fit me.
I don't want to bust on my boy Dabo, but he's talking about daddy ball.
I mean, that he put his daddy ball is real prevalent.
All 3 of his sons have played at Clemson.
How do
And they're not, they were not D1 football guys.
Stoop's son is at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They're still playing, and he's not even there no more. Like, it's like you're indirectly playing daddy ball down here.
Somewhat. Yeah, but I get you. Oh. Hey, that's the Tiger Rag, my Clemson Tiger Rag.
I thought we about
Actually,
to go right into it.
I was getting a phone call. I should have turned off my ringer there, huh? Whoops, sorry.
I thought we were going right into it. I said, well, we said we weren't going to talk about Clemson, but now we got to talk about Clemson.
Oh, my gosh. That was pretty funny, actually. There's not that much daddy ball.
I believe it's.
I don't call Deion daddy ball.
That's daddy ball.
Come on.
40,
that kid could almost.
You're passing 50 times a game.
Yeah, but that's true. And that's why they were 4-8.
Yeah, come on. With no offensive line.
I mean, come on. They're not.
That was daddy ball.
But you know what? You know what's crazy about that and the way media took that? When he started out 4-0, beating nobody.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the media has him ranked like top 15 and talking about national championship and all this garbage and how he's turned around the program. He didn't win another game.
Didn't. That Stanford
And
game.
you think he's going to be an NFL coach like that?
Yeah. It's the brand.
He probably could, though.
He's the best football brand ever.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt.
He's the best.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, prime time, if you take him anywhere.
Make gold out of a pile of you-know-what.
You're going to get paid. I know the AD at Colorado. I know the whole community of Boulder probably made a good little $100 million, $130 million
they did well.
Football season.
They did well.
If you didn't capitalize off last year, I don't even know what's going on with you. You weren't even trying. But prime time, like imagine if, I hate saying this because that'll make me mad, like my other rant. But if Deion came down here to the Falcons, that'd be a whole thing. the whole city will be energized, and we'll probably go like 4-15 or something like that. we'll go 4-12.
I think a big problem now though is if you're a star athlete, all of a sudden you're a star coach. Really?
Yep.
How'd that work out for Juwan Howard?
Yep. I mean, he's average. Juwan's average at Michigan.
And I think Deion might be in the same boat, but like you said, he's a marketer.
It's the brand.
He can do the brand.
How do you think Deshaun Foster's gonna work? With Bieniemy as the offensive coordinator.
I don't know. There's some.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's some baggage with Bieniemy. I don't know what it is.
He's not. Can I just really just put this out there? Bieniemy was with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. They can cover up a lot. They can cover up a lot of deficiencies. I'm just saying. But to hear when he went to Washington and all you heard was, man, we tired of getting cussed out and all this type of stuff. He got to learn how to talk to us. I already knew what time it was. Like, because they said he did that in Minnesota. He did that. It's another spot. He was
Where
with.
did he just go? He went somewhere.
He we watched. He at UCLA now.
That's right. We'll see how that works.
That's
out.
what I'm saying. Like, with those free spirited kids in California, you think he gonna talk to them crazy like that? I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, Bieniemy is just not that. I'm not sold on Bieniemy.
Wait, he's not the head coach?
Nah, offensive coordinator, but the assistant head coach.
What's their total on games won this year? I'm gonna bet the under.
I got them winning 2. I'm gonna be honest.
2 games?
I got them winning 2 games.
Especially going to Big Ten now.
Oh, definitely 2.
That's a whole nother subject.
Definitely 2.
This is a whole nother show we're getting into.
Definitely 2. We're doing that. All right, y'all. It's been cool. It's been fun on this midday. Make sure you check back in with us at the CGB studios. It's the JWill Show. I'll see you next time. Till then, peace.
Out.